Hi, everyone, and welcome to Raise Fist Media. I'm your host, Kamali Rose, here to bring you some breaking news here. Sony has, in what is an unprecedented move, there's nothing like this that I can think of, and anyone else that I've seen can think of in history of something like this occurring. But Sony has removed Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store just days after its release. This is a historic move because, well, let's take a look first. I'll show you the press release really quickly, and then we'll come back after that and we'll discuss. All right. So take a look quickly here, and you'll see what's going on here. So Sony has removed it from the store already. Cyberpunk 2077 is no longer available in the store, in the PlayStation Store, for anyone on a PlayStation 4 console. And anyone that has the game removed will be receiving a refund. So Sony is planning to issue refunds to everyone that had already purchased the game. So let's take a look here at their press release. So this is from PlayStation.com, and as you see here, it says Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing. Oh, let me give you a larger version of that here. All right. See that. All right. There we go. All right. So, all right. You guys can see that. Okay, cool. All right. So Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice. Once we have confirmed that you purchased Cyberpunk 2077, we will begin processing your refund. Please note that completion of the refund may vary based on your payment method and financial institution. Wow. Whoa. So this is, this is a truly unprecedented move. I'll show you, in case you don't take my word for it, take the word of some, well-known gaming journalists here. So let me show you this response from Patrick Klepek from Waypoint. Reacted to this, and Patrick Klepek on Twitter tweeted out, and he said, this is huge. They're delisting Cyberpunk. So he went on to say, can't think of an event similar to this. Cannot imagine what the behind the scenes phone calls between CD Projekt Red and Sony were like. This just doesn't happen. So, I mean, this is incredible. There's been a lot of controversy around Cyberpunk 2077 already because the studio initially was outspoken in saying that they were not going to be implementing and enforcing any kind of crunch culture. And that, crunch culture is when, developers are expected to work longer hours, for an extended period of time. So they're working, 50, 60, 70-hour weeks. And that can go on for weeks or even months at a time. Cyberpunk 2077 has been in development for 10 years. And so I feel bad for the developers who did the work and put in all that work, and only to have their game pulled after 10 years of work. That must be heartbreaking. But this was a big issue, and after they came out, and were outspoken against crunch culture, they turned around and they still ended up implementing that crunch culture. Ultimately, they went back on their word. tried to make excuses for it. They were really weak excuses from the executives there, and tried to excuse the crunch culture that they, and them crunching and asking their employees to crunch. Went so far as like the executive sending out an email to like, families of their developers saying, sorry, we know that, these developers aren't able to participate in the home, because we got them working so much. And so this was, what's incredible about this is that, so the developers, we don't know, they may have spoken out against this, but they, it sounds like they were being pressured by, the people up at the top to, get this game released by this release date. And this is, the problem with crunch culture in general, just this idea of these AAA titles being able to set a release date, to know all those moving parts, exactly when something's going to be ready, and, to set an expectation. This is a AAA title. To get this game pulled is again, this is a historic move. And so you got, folks from, this was, hundreds of developers working on this, and they put in a lot of work. And I wonder, you have to wonder if they tried to sound the alarm as the developers and say, listen, this game isn't ready. It's just not ready. It's not, they know, you QA testing it, and when it's buggy, how it looks. One of the big problems was, so this game, it works okay on next gen consoles. The problem is that it does not work. It's just totally buggy on current gen consoles, and people had no way of knowing this because they were showing, in-game footage, but all the in-game footage that they showed was always from next gen consoles. And so, consumers had no way of knowing that something like this was going to happen. And it was just, this is very abrupt, and nobody saw this coming. And Xbox had already begun issuing refunds for Xbox One customers because the game was performing so poorly on that console. It was performing poorly on PS4, and people were just waiting for the shoe to drop, essentially. But I don't think anyone saw this coming. So I'll show you a couple other reactions to this in the game industry there. So let's take a look at another tweet here. Grums, who's team lead for the original vanilla World of Warcraft, says that they are, they said, I've never seen a recall of a game at the scale of Cyberpunk 2077 before. Every Sony copy eligible for a refund, store delisting, unprecedented. This is, again, it's just unprecedented. And so I know it's got to be heartbreaking for the developers, who I'm sure worked incredibly hard on this title, and may have, again, sounded that alarm beforehand. Let's take a look at another response here. Again on Twitter, we got Mary Witta saying, so it's Gary Witta saying, I feel terrible for the Cyberpunk devs working their hearts out for a decade only to have ashes as their reward. This is on corporate, who knew the game wasn't shippable but shipped it anyway. This will go down as one of the great unforced errors in video game history, alas. And I agree. I think that this will go down as one of the greatest unforced errors in video game history. And it's just the scale of the game to have this sort of reaction is, I just can't think of anything like it. So wanted to come to you live with that news. If anyone has any thoughts or comments, please leave them in the chat right beside me here. You can also please hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, please, and share this video out to help us grow the channel and spread the word. So again, just please like, subscribe, share, and help us grow this channel. Also, if you can afford to do so, please support the show at coffee.com/raisedfistmedia. That's ko-fi.com/raisedfistmedia. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/raisedfistmedia. Link is in the description box below. All right, so just click that link, support the show. We appreciate your help. Thank you to everyone for joining us here. And yeah, I think that's it. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, folks.